Say that we're learning Basra Daf Chof Tes. We're starting in the bottom of Chof Ches base. The one's trying to understand. It's tomorrow's day. But the one's trying to understand the reason that we have a chazaka after 3 years. What was the reason of the chazaka? The Gemara brings the first attempt at the Gemara was to learn from Shor Amud. Shor Amud after 3 times because Mud. So therefore, by year it should be after three times, 3 years, you're able to. That's a chazaka on the field. Says the Gemara, that's very good. If you learn like a Shmuel, that says that the closer you are, the better. So therefore, if I have chazakas which are closer, it works. If I have I'm collecting or harvesting 3 different types of trees, that's good enough. But if you if you disagree with the Rishwal, so how are you going to work with the Sharamut? Sharamut, the closer it is, the better, at least according to Rabbi. So says the Gemara, the Rabbanah, 4 lines at the bottom of the page. The Rabbanah, how are you going to know? How do we know the idea of the chazaka? There's a pasuk. Sadois b'kesev yiknu v'kosoy b'sefer v'chasoy. Pasuk that is mentioned to Yirmiyah. That's a famous pasuk. We learn from here the idea of ksiva b'shtar. So they'll buy sadois b'kesef, write in a star. Sharei novi oimid be'eser umazir al-chadasr. The novi is in the 10th year of the king Tzidkiyahu, and is the next year, on the 11th year, they're going to be going to Golos. So he says that the amount of time you're going to be in the field is only 2 years. So therefore he says, within 2 years, it's not a chazaka. You hold on to the star. Make sure you have a star. If anybody questions what are you doing in the field, you have a star. But if it will be more than 2 years, we'll get to 3 years, I don't have to have a star. So the Navi is saying, because we have only 2 years until Golos, so then that means after that, that's why you have to have a star. If it will be more than 2 years, so maybe you don't have to have a star. That's the one once we go right. This brings you a different girsa. And then Tosis ends, and this is very gishmak because this is the last few lines of this Dav of Chof Ches, which is learned as the Dav of Shivos of Tammuz, the day of Hufkeh here, the day that Yerushalayim was broken into. Tosis brings a raya regarding the cheshbon of when the Yirmiyah speak. If you look at the last few lines of Tosis, not much the last words of Tosis, Dav Chof Ches on base. So Tosis brings a raya. He says the figures that said the Ariel Nekel Shmonas Chodesh or Bishnat 11 Chodesh Revi Betisha Chodesh Hufkeh. Speaks about the Kiyaseh in Bris Midrash Rishon, which was the 9th of the month. In Yom Dayim, we're talking about this is the day we commemorate it. Tosis Mamish and brings it in this daf. So anyways, the Gemara brings, according to Rashi, that the 9th and 10th, that these years are the years of chazaka. 2 years is not a chazaka. From here on is a chazaka. So the Gemara maybe the Navi just gives an Eitz HaToiv, have a star. Who says the less than 3 years that I need a star? Maybe just giving you an Eitz HaToiv. Better to have a star, better to have a deed, and then no one will ask any questions. So the Gemara I can explain the next pasuk. So he was telling Ami, so you're going to Golos, you're going to be there for a while, you're going to be there for 70 years. So go buy houses, plant fields, enjoy the fruit. You have a few good years to be there. What is Yirmiyah telling you? He's giving you any halacha? Let's say, Eitz HaToiv, he's giving you Eitz HaToiv. He's giving you just a dracha, you're going there. This is the best way to work it out. Don't wait to come to Eretz Yisrael right away. Also here it's Eitz HaToiv, they should write a star, but not a rayo to chazaka. So what Teida dichtiv menasavtem mikli cheres leman yamdu yomim rabbi. There's another pasuk the Yirmiyah says we mentioned Shas a few times. Put the star in kli cheres, it should stay for a long time. From here you learn that a star needs to last for many years. So you have to have Eidi Chasima. So what is that for? So here, Elamai telling me here, you have Eitz HaToiv. You don't have to. You can survive without it. So also here you can survive without it. No right to chazak. The first year, a person sees someone in his field, he says, you know what? Let him be there. It's only 1 year. Fine. Second year is also moichel. After 3 years, not moichel anymore. If it's a mechila, when the karka goes back to the owner, period should go back without the fruits. What had to be with the fruits? It was a mechila. He was moichel on the fruits. If he doesn't have chazaka, he doesn't have a shtad, he doesn't have enough rayo, so he goes back to the owner with the fruits. Why? The first 2 years, you should be his mechila. Hello, Marova Shada Kamaisa Likopitish. Tied to Likopit. Klate Kopit. So the first 2 years is not makbid that someone is in his location. Okay, so he's there. He's not makbid. Second year is not makbid. But 3 years already makbid. So it's not a deed of mechil. It's not moichel anything. But he's not, so you want to be there for a little bit. I'll let you be there. Then we'll do cheshbon afterwards. These people for the family of Yeshiva, that they are very careful. People, anybody who goes through their border, they're already getting upset. What are you doing on my property? So, you want to tell immediately the fact that he's not moicha shows that he sold it, not 3 years, because you tell me the first 2 years people are not makbid. So it depends on the person. Some people 3 years the chazaka, some people 2 years, some people a year. Hello, Marovo. So comes Rava with the maskana. Shata kamaiso mizdar inish b'shtori. First year, person is careful with the shtar. Tarti v'tlas mizdoyer. To the second and 3rd years also zoyer. Tfeilu mizdar. After 3 years, the person is not careful anymore to keep the deed. You store it in the boyden for 2-3 years, but not more. According to you, so then if it's a thing that he's not going to lose the shtar, so a mecha it's not in front of him should not be a mecha. Why? If you'd be more in front of me, then don't be careful with the shtar. But now I'm not careful with the shtar because I didn't know. That's what the sword that weren't brought in the previous Amud. Your friend has a friend, and the friend of the friend has a friend. If I'm moicha, you will hear about it, and you will be careful with it. Now here is important to mention, the basic rate of this sugya is the Ktsois brings the Ramban, and then Ktsois brings other Rishonim, to understand what is the idea of Chazak Chazak Shalosh Shanim. So the Gemara tells us 3 years a person is not careful with the shtar, and therefore what? What does that mean? So the Ramban says the pshat is that right away when a person is holding on to a karka and the owner is not moiche, that's a raya that it's his. But within 3 years, he can have a taina to you. Where's your shtar? The shtar is a griyusa in your chazak. I want to hold on to the shtar because I'm the owner. What am I doing in the field? You didn't say anything. I went to the field. Nobody said anything. Oh, I write down the owner. Very good. But if you're the owner, where's your shtar? The fact you don't have a shtar is a griyusa on your chazaka. After 3 years, there's no griyusa anymore. So the fact that you're holding on to it, that shows it's yours. That's what Ramban learns. The Ktsois brings other Rishonim that say no. The idea is it's a takana derabbanan. Rabbanan went and established that a person needs to go and hold on to his shtar forever. What kind of time is it? 25 years later, he's going to come and say it's my karka? What? Like, so we have to. But by a shtar, let me tell you, by a shtar, I don't have to hold on to it. It's not like ksuvos is a little different. And this is a good point when he says, because a ksuv is like a halva. By a shtar halva, of course you have to hold on to the shtar. You want to extract money with the shtar. This is what that's what you're holding in order to extract money. Of course you have to hold on to it. And if it's a 20-year loan, a 20-year loan. But by karka, I'm not holding the shtar for anything. This is my karka, I'm here. Because maybe someone is going to complain one day. So Rabbanan Misakin, I don't have to hold the shtar for so long, and that's the reason of the Tatakonos. So it's a Baflekes, and then the Kshes goes into it. Is it the idea that the Chazak Shalosh Shanim shows that you're a Muchzak, shows that you're the owner, or the Chazak Shalosh Shanim is the Tatakonos Rabbanan that I don't have to hold on to the shtar. But it's not a raya on its own. It's not a raya on its own. It's interesting to point out also a little bit in Yom Yaimo to the Maharal, and then Yisrael brings that the Gemara in Gittin says that Akash Baruch Hu was magdim 2 years to V'noshantim. It says the Am Yisrael was supposed to go, if Am Yisrael would be in Eretz Yisrael for the amount of years, which is the numeric value, gematria of V'noshantim, they will be destroyed. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Magdim Shtei Shonim, we did 2 years earlier. So says the Maharal, why have got 2 years? Why not more? Because more than 2 years, when you get to 3 years, it's already Chazak. Like we learned over here, Cheskas Abatim is 3 years. I want to tell you, I'm very close to Vinashantim. I just not allowed to get to Vinashantim, but you're right before that, within 2 years. If I do a little earlier than that, it's already a whole new parsha. Because 3 years makes you a bailer. So the Maharal sounds like the Ramban. 3 years is a raya that you're the owner. Not 3 years, it's not the Rabbanan. Because then what should be in Vinashantim? So Maharal goes with that mahal. Okay, says the Gemara. Omar Abuno Shaloshim Shamru V'hu Shachlo Mitzufus. He has to eat 3 years for 3 consecutive years. My Kamash, what's a Chiddush? Tanina Chizkazu Shaloshonim Yom Liyoim. It says in the Mishnah, have to be 3 years from day to day, means of 3 consecutive years. Ma'al Detemo Miyoim Miyoim La'fuke Mekutois Uloila Mafilu Mifuzoris. Maybe you tell me that we talked about 3 years, but even we are Mekutois. Rashi says, Ma'atim Yom Liyoim Nektari Masisim Lemut Kutois Deloitemo Shaloshoim Mekutois Kama Ke Nektari Seifo. The what is Mekutois? You don't have to have 3 full years. Right, it's the Abach, it's called the Shoshaim, Einem Yom Liyoim.
It adds up for 3 years.
Right, I would think it, as long as it ends up, I'll give him a Chodesh B'Rishayno, Gil Ba'achreinu, Yidei Zento, so we learned in the Mishnah. So the 3 years, there is a sheet, there's sometimes you don't have to have 3 full years. So maybe I would say, they could be not full 3 years, but that's what comes to say Yom Liyoim. Uloim Lafil Fuzaris, if I have 3 years, which are 1 year over year, 1 year over year, it's not consecutive. So that maybe not. Kamash Rulan, that what? That it has to be a completely consecutive 3 years. He agrees if it's a place, if it's a valley, where 1 year they don't plow. The way they do it, as Rashi points out, they leave the fields for 1 year. They don't touch it, and because it makes it better for it to grow things later better in a better way. So maybe there you don't have to be plowing the field that year. Says the Gemara, Shito, what's a Chiddush? Some in that valley are moiver, some are not. Some do leave the field alone, some don't. That guy, that's his minute. That's what he does. How the Tamer should tell him. If it was yours, you should have planned the field even that year that you leave it alone. The Omer tells him, to hold one karka in the entire valley, there's multiple fields over here. So if everybody's plowing, and this is the time of the season, so it's very easy, everybody's here. But to open the bungalow colony for one bungalow, it doesn't make sense. It needs to be the whole everybody together. So I don't want to plant this here. If I leave it open for 1 year, so then it's gonna grow better. So I don't want to do it. The Rishonim do point out over here that even in the year that you leave it alone, they plow it once and they leave it plowed for the entire year. So that's why there is a time. It's not that I left it alone. I did something over here. I just didn't plant it. So there is a ride that I'm holding onto the field. That's why it works. Okay, Batim, what do you know? You know someone's there during the days. How do you know he's there in the nights? Nobody sees where he is in the nights. Who's the one who testifies on the houses? Shiveve, the neighbors. Shiveve made the idea. They know the day and night. Obviously talking about Ayente Shiveve, the neighbors. They know where the neighbors are, the day, the night. They know where the neighbors are. Robo Omar. Also be trade unknown and green and minay with the arena beit loshon be ever vilela. So I had a different solution. Somebody came and said I rented from him the house, and I was there day and night. So I'm the eight. I'm testifying on him, and I know that was his day and night because I was there day and night. I didn't know you could do something. There no you get if you tell me that if they're not going to say that this guy rented to us, so then the original owner is going to come with a taina. You need to pay me. You were in my house. You have to pay me. The daino de shapili. Daini achi. That's what the Bach adds. Daini achi. Meaning people that don't know how to do a din, they die in this way. In other words, say this time that you just said. Talk about they're coming with the money. They're ready to pay. They say, Rabbi say, who should I pay? Who should I pay? We were here for 3 years. This guy rented it to us. Nobody had time. This guy says, is this? Should I pay this guy or that guy? We're testifying that that this guy rented to us and nobody had time. So here, the Rashbam, well, by the way, just to mention, I failed to mention. Right here we have, in this Talmud, we have Atkan Pirush Rashi Zal, Tzitzal, Mikan Ve'el Pirush Rabbi Shmuel B'Ramir. The Rashbam starts over here in this daf, and there's the gears over here in the Gilyon. It says, Kan Mis Rashi. Rashi died over here. Rashi passed away over here. So we have we remove from Rashi the Rashbam. You can see right away in the last Rashi. Rashi says, Elam Omar Am Nachman. Why did Am Nachman say? It says, Rashi the Kol Mishmaitzi. Come on. The Rashbam says, Elam Omar Am Nachman. Next point. Lekamav Mishmaitzi Gabei. Maxi Bakar Chaver. V'ozi Yideh V'ayisaydi Dachot. The Rashbam is a much bigger marich on Rashi. That's why Masechet Bava Basra is so long, because Pirush Rashbam takes so much space on the daf. So here the Rashbam says, what does it mean? Merzut is talking to who? It says the Rashbam, Merzutcho is talking, is a new sugya, new thing. We assume that person is chazako. If you look, let's see, just on the beginning of the Rashbam, in the end of the Amud. O Merzutcho itoin, milse be'apinavshi. Even though you need to be 3 years over there, we don't ask him to bring people there day and night. So this is talking I am assuming that if he's there the day and night. Unless the owner says, no, bring me a raya. So that's what he says. So I need a raya. Tosis brings up shot that this Gemara is referring to the last question. The Gemara asks, what do you mean someone is there? How do we know they was there day and night? So now the Gemara says, if the owner asks for it, according to one shot thesis, so he has the right to ask for it. You have to bring a raya. Says the Gemara that there's a difference in the Girsor, so let's stick to the argues, so the Girsor of the Rashbam. According to Rashbam, we're talking here about the owner. The owner, it says, this is my house. He doesn't know to claim, maybe they were there only day, not night. Someone who was living in the city, you would say, wait a minute, I know he was in the house. He lived there, he stopped by, he was a guest by me. He came a few times doing for Shabbos. He was not there day and night. But someone who's not there, who goes in the Ayoros, so then we're going to go and time the frame. Anybody who says was living there, maybe was there only in the day, while the owner was going around the cities to sell his merchandise. You want him to say, Chazaka was there for 3 years? Bring a raya, you were there day and night. According to Tosis, this is Marzut, the different gears over here, but Marzut is talking about Klape, the one who's there. We're going to be toying, we're going to help the one who's there to say it probably was there day and night. Says the Gemara, so let's have to say day and night, that's only houses. People live there day and night. But a store that people use only during the day, not during the night, so you don't have, there's no chazak in the night. Says the Gemara, so these two brothers, Rami and Rav Ukva, they bought a maid together. One used it for year 1, year 3, year 5. Another one used her for year 2, year 4, and year 6. Why? Because we'll see later, there's chazaka as well. They didn't want to have a chazaka on each other. So each one it wasn't consecutive years. Year 1, year 2, you take it. Year 3, I take it. Year 4, they take it. So no one has the 3 consecutive years.
They didn't trust each other.
That's what it seems like. Even though we're talking about two brothers. Yeah, maybe you should be taino. You never know, maybe the kids will have a problem. So says the Gemara, Nafak Orella, there was an Eru. There was someone claimed against this Am. Pasuk committed work here in front of Roma. And they told him, together we held on there for 6 years. We were there for 6 years. Why you yourself did not hold it for 3 consecutive years? So you won't have chazak against each other. Each one of you wanted to hold on to it only for not to have consecutive years. Same is not chazaka for you, it's not chazaka for anybody else. Because none of you have a chazaka of 3 years. Hi, they have a chazaka together. We're now understand it doesn't work together. Each one on his own has to have chazaka. You don't have 3 years, you don't have 3 years. So the owner comes and says, I don't have anybody held it for 3 years. Says so what is Itra? Itra is a star that they come and divide this way. Aval kosov Itra kol isli. If there's an Itra kol isli. Here Tais goes on to explain that the idea is that the Rashban, the Tais will come out to point out, once you have the whole point is that each one says, I didn't know. Says the owner, I didn't realize. I know that after 3 years, then you have a taina. Then before 3 years, no. I came year 1, you were with her, wasn't 3 years. Year 2, I saw somebody else. I didn't realize that you're together. But if there's a shtar chalukah, so you know they're together, they're basically partners. They're partners, so then the 6 years combined together to be chazak. Someone came and used the field for 3 years, except for a piece he did not use. So I don't see the entire field as is. I see the entire field as is besides the area that he used. That's only if he could use it, could plant it. If he's not Basra, so he's coining it because it's part of the field, it's part of that area. He can't plow it. According to you, how are you going to be coining that sunnah? How are you going to be coining that rock? You can use the rock, putting animals walking on it, and you can put it in fruits. So here, you should have put on it animals or use it in fruits, in other words, use it for other usages. Don't tell me because you're not using it, because you can't use it, because you can't plant it, that's not a good taino, you can't plant it. And it's interesting, Taisus points out earlier, Taisus in Daf Ches was asking how you koine, you were saying how you koine when things that you don't plow, what's the way to koine this? He says you could put a fence around it. So Taisus asked, what about a tzunmo? The Gemara asked about a tzunmo, the Gemara could have said you could put a fence around it. So he says, you're right, you could have said that, there's more to do, but I'm trying to ask a tzunmo within a field. An area within a field, and I want to put a fence around that area. So what am I doing? So the Gemara, I can say you can still use it for the animals and for the fruits, and that should be, you have to use it somewhat. But if I'm not, the fact that I can't plow it is not good enough. Even though something is real, you have to have a kin chazaka in order to avoid the fact that you don't have a shtar, because maybe the owner sold the field except for the tzuma. Okay, so we'll start over here. From here, it goes on to the next daf, the complicated sugyas about the gavoy, about the baroi. So that will be a fun daf. Here, Lom the Shadaf, coming up. Okay, Beseder.